Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. I wanted to drop this video today because I want to talk about the Google Sandbox. Is it real? Is it actually something that actually does happen? The answer is absolutely. It's 100% real. If you don't know what the Google Sandbox is, first of all, welcome to the channel. We're going to be breaking it down today. And more importantly, you're going to walk away with, I guess just say, information that might open your eyes to getting to a better level of blogging. So the Google Sandbox is essentially Google's way of taking your website. When you apply to be in the Google Search Console, you add your website to the console, you try to get some information on traffic, things like that. Google puts your website, right, in a sandbox. Before they can start ranking you, even if there's no competition for a blog post, before they can start ranking you, they have to identify who you are, what you're capable of. And when I say who you are, I'm not talking about the person behind the computer. They don't care about your skin color, your ethnicity, your age, your nationality. None of that matters. When I say who you are, I'm talking about the content that you're providing to the website. This is why in one of my last videos, I don't remember if you guys saw it. I don't know if you guys saw it, excuse me. But one of my last videos, I said the first 30 days are where you don't miss a day when you're blogging. You don't mess up. The first 30 days are the most important 30 days when it comes down to your blog. Because that's going to make the determining factor on how much Google respects you for the future. It's very, very important. Now, if you mess up the first 30 days, it's not over. The world is not over, right? It's not, the apocalypse. You still have time to improve and change. But think about it this way. When Google puts you in a sandbox, and they absolutely do, they're taking your brand new website and they're understanding every aspect about you. If you upload once every 3 weeks, right, the first 30 days, which essentially you have one blog post, maybe your website's out of whack, it's not organized, it's not clean, it's not very clear on what the website offers. Google's going to take their time with you. It's going to take much longer for them to rank you for keywords. You might go on into the future and create more blog posts, maybe create another 10, 20, 30 blog posts. But at that point, you're still fighting an uphill battle. The best thing you can do is you come off strong and heavy in the beginning. But I don't want people to get confused. You can't just create, let's say, for example, use some of these blogging auto softwares that publish 10, 20, 30 blog posts a day. That's not intelligent either. Because remember, during the sandbox phase, Google's understanding, number one, the type of content that you're creating, and number two, the frequency and the quality. This is very, very important. So if they see that you're releasing 10, 20, 30 blog posts a day, guess what? They're going to expect that down the future. So let's say the first 30 days you do that with some sort of AI tool. You might get a whole host of impressions. And we spoke about, by the way, these AI tools that can create these blog posts for you on auto. Not the best thing to do, but let's just say you do that. Well, they're going to be looking for the same style output later down the road. If they see that you completely neglect the website, maybe you're posting twice a day, 5 times a day now instead of 30 times a day, well, then that website is on a dying trajectory. They're not going to go ahead and improve you. Frequency is one of the ranking factors that a lot of people do not pay attention to, and it's super important. It's super important. And if you've ever wondered why certain blogs, when they create a brand new post, it might be a week later that they start ranking on Google for it, and they start actually getting traffic, is because they've earned respect in Google's eyes. Now, Google doesn't call it respect. These are algorithmic formulas. There's no name to these kind of things. But why does it seem like certain posts have certain demand or have certain power in the algorithms more than others? Well, it derives from the blogs that they're coming from, the sites, the identities they hold in Google's eyes. Now, we've talked about a quote-unquote credit score before, which is referred to as a domain authority. In essence, this is a credit score. The same way you have a credit score for your credit cards, and the credit companies give you a score based on how fast you pay them back and how little you use your monthly limit, the same way Google looks at it as well. How fast can you create content? How well can the content be performed? What kind of topics are the content on? This is once again another thing where I talk about don't just create general blogs. Like if you're creating one blog post about a certain recipe, and then one blog post about how your day went, and then another blog post about how to improve your health, that is not the way to go. Because Google's going to look at it and say, okay, they're diversified in all these different niches, but they're not an expert in any of them. So once again, the Google Sandbox is a period of time that Google holds you in a purgatory phase. You're held, you're analyzed, you're studied, and you're seen. How are you going to perform? And they're looking at your output. They're looking at your quality of your output, the content of your output. They're looking at the quantity of output, not just your quality, but the quantity. They're looking at the niche. They're looking at the category. They're looking at the keywords. They're looking at the design. They're looking at bounce rate. They're looking at so many different things that come into play. So the first 30 days when you build your blog, yes, you don't have to go hell's blazing, but you have to do a huge effort to try to give the best effort you absolutely can. You have to break a sweat doing this. The first 30 days, it's really not a problem. But now that you know this, that will lead to greater success down the road. It'll become easier. The tension becomes less. The best way I can give this as an example is imagine you're pushing a 700-pound ball of yarn. And let's say that ball of yarn is 15 feet tall, right? It has a diameter of 15 feet. And you're pushing this ball of yarn. Do you want to push it uphill, downhill, or just a flat path? Well, obviously, you would want to push it downhill because all it takes is one tap, and that thing is going to come flying down. But if you're pushing uphill, can you still succeed? Absolutely. But it's much, much harder. And that's what the Sandbox is all about. It determines, are you going to be pushing uphill, downhill, or on a flat path? Most people end up having to push uphill because they don't give their blog the true attention that it needs, and that's perfectly fine. But Google also understands when content is blog produced, or it's blog heavy, or it's blog focused. I'll give you an example. Here's my How to Boost Testosterone blog. The last blog post I created was this one about oysters. And guess what? I go to the Google Search Console, I see some information, and there's an icon, an image right here of what? My blog post image of my oysters article. This is the most recent one I created. Google knows when the most recent content you create is. They're watching your every move, your every step, whether it's a fix or it's a mistake, whether it's effort or lack of effort. And the Google Sandbox is the epitome of success for some people, but it's also a pit of hell for others. You have to figure out where you fit and how you want to be treated by Google. All right, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful. I'll see you soon. Peace out. Bye.